Welcome back. In our Selenium with Python series, today we are going to see the Selenium weights or synchronization in Selenium. Now, what is synchronization and why do we need to synchronize the Selenium scripts? Now, the reason is that let's say that you are performing any operation on your browser elements. Let's say you are clicking on a button or you are navigating to another screen or you are performing certain calculations. Now at that time the system takes certain amount of time. I mean, system in the sense your browser application takes some time to process your request. Now what happens, your script might not wait till that particular amount of time because the script doesn't know that how much time your system or your browser application is taking, and then it will move to the next line of code to execute. But whereas it might not able to find that particular button or text whatever you are verifying, and that's where you will be getting some kind of script error because that element is not found at that moment, or it might be found after some time actually. So in that situation actually we need to synchronize, in the sense we need to wait certain amount of time depending on a particular condition or depending on certain amount of time, so that the browser application can process your request and then your next line of code will execute properly. Okay, so for an instance, so let's say now you are on a registration screen, you are clicking on the submit button. Now as soon as you click on the submit button, the next page will come the confirmation where it will say that you have successfully signed up or you have registered successfully. Now the Selenium script, what it will do, it will click on the submit button. The next line would be verify the registration confirmation text actually. Now while you click on the submit button, the application might take certain amount of time to process all of your data, keeping into the database, verifying the details and all those things. By the time the application takes certain amount of time, your script will compare whether the registration successful text appeared or not. So that's where actually the problem is coming. So the script goes to the next line where it will be comparing the registration text, but the application is not yet reached to the confirmation screen. So now to avoid these kind of problems, you need to wait certain amount of time, and Selenium provides a different type of waits, so we will see that one by one. Okay, so let's get started. Now we have seen in our previous sessions we used to use the time dot sleep, so it's a Python specific I mean what you call wait actually, so we call it as a hard wait, where irrespective of your application is loaded or not, it will wait certain amount of time. So let's say again, let's go back to our example where I'm clicking on the submit button, and there I'm waiting for 10 seconds, let's say, because that's what I estimated that the application takes 10 seconds. Sometimes the application might react very soon actually, like within 2 to 3 seconds. Now if I am giving a hard wait of 10 seconds, even though the registration screen confirmation screen appeared, the script will wait a hard wait of 10 seconds, so which where we are kind of delaying our execution by 7 to 8 seconds, right? Now the same thing, let's say that in your script you have used for a specific test case, you are using 3 to 4 times time dot sleep is 10 seconds, and now you have 200 test cases, so you might be waiting whole test cases to run, that your waiting time will be nearly half an hour to 1 hour. So that is not a good practice of writing the tests, right? So that's where Selenium come up with the different features. So there are two features actually with the Selenium is which Selenium is providing. One is your implicit wait, another one is your the explicit wait, or we call it as a WebDriverWait actually. So let's get started and see both of them in detail. Okay, so for this again I will be going to the elements package. I will create a new file and I will give that as name test underscore selenium wait. Okay, dot py. Some people might say this one is a dot py or py, whatever you feel appropriate. Okay, and let me copy paste from somewhere, and let me do one thing, let me copy paste these things, and then here, like here you can see, let me at this moment let me put this one comment. I will show you what is the use of that, and here I'll put one link actually. So this is the application demo which I'm going to show, and here is this one. Okay, so let me refresh this page. So here you can see there is no text actually. What it is saying, click below button to display the text after 5 seconds. So if I'm clicking on this, now I'm expecting some text here. Now if I'm not giving any weight and checking this what you call text or element, whatever it is there, the Selenium will throw me exception actually, no such element exception. It might throw me. Okay, so due to that, one thing what I can say, so here I know it is 5 seconds, so I will click this button, I will wait for 5 seconds, a hard wait 5 or 6 seconds, and then I will identify this particular element and then get the text out of that. Let's see that in action. So here, and this is demo, right? And the title is delay. So I will say delay so that I will make sure that the page is loaded properly. Okay, and fine. Now let's try to identify this button. Sorry, not this one actually. And it is name is commit. So I will go here, I will say commit some name, and then I will say driver dot find element by name, and then I will say commit, and then I will say commit dot click. Okay, so after clicking on this, I need to get the text of that particular element. Which element? Basically this element. Now if you inspect this one, you will see the ID is actually 2. Now this text at the initial stage it won't be there. Let me show you that. If I refresh this one, you can see there is no text. This text will appear after 5 seconds only. But at this moment, let's try to identify this element. So driver dot find element by id, and it is 2. Let's see if it is capital. Okay, all small. Okay, and then I will try to print the element dot text. Okay, and here I'm just writing like this just for our understanding. So I will say first attempt. Okay, and then I will concatenate this one. Fine. Okay, so here what this test case will do, that first it will load this URL, then it will check whether the driver title is matching or not, then it will identify the commit button and click on that. And then as soon as it is clicking, it will try to get the text from this particular element actually, that paragraph. So it will click here and get the text out of this. And there is no wait time I'm providing here. So but the text will appear after 5 seconds. So let's see what it is giving. And here let me wait for some time so that I can see properly what is happening. 3 seconds, and then I will say driver dot quit. Okay, simple test case. Now let me run this because it is a PyTest. I'll put PyTest hyphen sv, and then I will say src elements, and then I will say test underscore selenium wait. Oops, it is capital. Okay, okay, it clicked on that button. Okay, let's see what it is giving. You can see it is giving null actually. So it means that it's not able to I get that text. So the I mean element is identified, no problem with that. But it's not getting that text because this text will appear after 5 seconds only. So as our the classic way, what I can do here, after clicking on that button, I will make it as a 6 second for the safe side of that. So because 5 seconds the application is taking, but I'm getting a 6 second. Now let's see if I'm getting this particular element's text or not. So let me rerun the same test. Now it clicked and will wait for 6 seconds. Okay, and then it should give me the proper response. And here you can see first attempt I'm here, so this text is identified. Now let's say, because this is a demo site, so I know that because I have made it as a strict 5 second, but this is kind of mocking that submit button and a confirmation, right? Now think about, this is a submit button and confirmation is I am here actually. Now sometimes depending on your bandwidth, depending on your the application load, server capacity, It might take 2 seconds, it might take 3 seconds, or it might take even 10 seconds as well. So now how do we handle it? Now, is this a good practice to keep this time.sleep as 6 seconds? Sometimes your application might respond in 1 second, where you are kind of wasting your 5-second waiting. Sometimes your application might take 10 seconds, but you are waiting for 6 seconds, so you won't get the proper output there. So these are the different problems you are getting actually while performing the Selenium script or while executing the Selenium script. Now, Selenium given one feature of the implicit wait. If you would have seen here, I disabled this one, right? Let me uncomment this one. And now here, I'm not keeping any of the wait here, the hard wait or whatever it is there. Okay, now let's see what is happening with this. Then I will explain what is that implicit wait. Okay, you can see even on the first attempt also this become failed, even though we are giving the implicit wait. Now then let's try to understand what is this implicit wait. So implicit wait, as per the documentation, it says that any element that you are trying to identify. Okay, so your Selenium will wait that much amount of time to see whether the element is available or present on the screen or not. Okay, now this is one of the example actually. Here I will show you this one. Now you can see here there is one more example. Now we have seen getting that text actually after 5 minutes. Now you would have seen there is another one. Let me just click it. So let's wait for 5 seconds, and then you can see there is one text is coming, and here this this paragraph with id as delay, the element itself is not present when you click on this one. Now if I am trying to identify this element, as soon as I will click this one, I will get some error actually. Now let's try to do that as well. Okay, so what I will do here, again I'm commenting this one just to show you the problem with that. Now here what I will do, I'll create one, maybe I will say delay element, and I will try to identify that element. Okay, and the element is delay, and then let's print the text actually, whatever the text is coming, delay element dot text. Okay, fine. Now here let me just rerun this one again, and let's see what is happening. Now what I am doing here, loading the website, clicking on the button, and then I am verifying the button text actually, or the element text, whatever it is there. Now as I told you, whenever I'm going, let me refresh this one, you can see there is no delay actually. Now if I go here and I will show you this one, and I will make some css selector where id equal to delay. Oops, yeah, id equal to delay. Now you can see there is no element matching actually, because this will appear after 5 seconds of this click actually, but I'm trying now only to, after clicking this I'm doing this one. Now if I click this one and then search it, I'm not getting, but let me search it after 5 seconds. Now see, it is coming, but here I'm not giving any weight or anything. Definitely if I give a hard weight, it will definitely work, but as I told, hard weight is not a proper scenario. Now let's see what exception it is giving, or is it executing successfully. Let's see that. You can see it thrown certain error actually, and that is it's giving me exception as no such element exception. Okay, now to ever, because here what is happening, before this is the text it is fetching, it is first trying to identify this element. Wherever this element takes some time to appear actually, so that's where you are getting no such element exception. So at that moment when the selenium is executing this script, the element is not available, so we need to wait certain amount of time so that it can be identifiable. One solution I told you at the beginning, whether you are fetching the text, whether you are identifying the element, if you are sure how much time it is taking, you can make a hard wait actually, but it is not recommended. Then we need to find it out a another solution. The solution is to use the implicit wait actually. Now what this implicit wait will do, it will wait, the selenium will wait for certain amount of time whatever you are specifying here, and till that time it will keep on checking whether that element is available or not. If it is passing this 30 seconds and still it is not getting, then it will throw you this no such element exception. But with this example or demo, we know that within 5 to 6 seconds this element is identifiable because it will appear it, that much for sure. In a worst scenario, let's say that it will take 10 seconds, still it is falling under this one only. Now you might be asking, what is the difference between this time dot sleep and implicit wait? Now the main difference is that implicit wait will not wait till this much amount of time. So once it is identified whether it is 2 seconds, 3 seconds or 20 seconds, it will no longer wait again. It will come out of that implicit wait and will go to the next line. So that's where actually we are solving the problem of this hard wait. Now if I'm giving a time dot sleeper for 30 seconds, even though at 2 seconds also selenium identified, it will wait rest 28 second of that time normally like that only without doing anything. So that's where we are losing 28 second, or the test case execution is increased with 28 second, whereas implicit wait will wait certain amount of time to load that particular or to identify that particular element. Even though within that limit also if it is identifying, then it will go to the next line of the code. It won't wait a hard wait of this much second. Let's try to see if this time we are getting this text or not. Okay, I'm giving a 30-second and we need to see after it is identifying this, is it really waiting for the 30 seconds? Let me run this again and see what happens. Now it clicked on the click me, and then it will wait for 5 to 6 seconds. See, it appeared that particular text. Now see, within 5 to 6 seconds only it closed that application because it went to the new line of the code and then it even printed. Let me see where it is. It should be here actually. Now delay is this one actually. Now you can see it printed here. Now that is the what do you call beauty of this implicit wait. Now let's say that you have an application where one particular element is taking, let's say, more than 1 minute. Now not to worry, you can make it as a 60 minutes or 120 minutes. Now what happens, any kind of delay in your selenium identification or your item is not loading properly, it will wait certain amount of time. For other elements on your application which is bit faster, it will even what do you call execute in that manner. It won't wait a strict wait time actually. So this is one of the handy feature of selenium where you can at the beginning you need to specify this one. So it means that while you are loading your browser actually, that time only you specify it. It's not a hard and fast rule that you need to specify this driver dot implicit wait just exactly next line of this, but it's a good practice actually to mention there. Let's say you have several pages on your screen and one page is taking 20 seconds, another page is taking 30 seconds to identify the elements, and in your page object model if you are using, in each page you can even specify this implicit wait. Okay, initially you're making 30 seconds, but some page you want to make this as 10 seconds, you can just override. Like here I can write driver dot implicit wait 10 actually, but there is no use of that. But I'm just saying it's not a fast rule, that hard and fast rule that you need to keep here only. Okay, so always try to give a maximum amount of time. But again, another catch actually in that, let's say one of the element you are waiting for that element but it won't appear actually, there is some application issue is there. Okay, and you are waiting for that much amount of time. Let's say that you are logging in and as soon as you logged in it should say welcome to this particular website. Okay, now what happened, you have 200 test cases are there. Let's say that login functionality is not working and you made this one as implicit wait let's say 60 seconds. Now what happens, you know that login got failed. Now your first test case where it will try to identify, it will click on the sign in button and will check the welcome text. Now while it is identifying the welcome text, anyway it won't appear because your application is having some issue. So that time every test case it will wait for 60 seconds. Now think about that. If you have 200 test cases, then the 200 minutes it will wait for your test case execution, and at the end what is the result you are getting? All the test cases are failed. Okay, so that's where you need to be more what do you call, smart enough to specify the implicit wait. Normally, with my experience, we normally do a wait of 15 seconds. There is a business rule actually. Somewhere I read that each and every application to behave in a ideal manner, it has to be delaying with 7 to 10 seconds only. But real time is different, so you can wait up to 15 or 20 second only. So even though few of the test cases are failing because the application is having an issue and you are not getting that, you might not need to wait complete like 200 minutes or something actually. So you have to choose a specific amount of time to specify in this implicit wait. Keep that in mind actually. Okay, so whenever you have more failures, the time it will take more actually, because failures always will wait till this much amount of time. Okay, now to avoid this one actually, because I mean you're not, you can't make sure, right? Always your application will behave in a proper manner, and there is some delay which I can use with implicit wait. What happens, a particular module is not working properly. Every time it is hitting to this amount of time actually, because application is not working in this release. So there is another way actually where you can handle this delay also without using this driver dot implicit wait. This is one of the way, and it's very what do you call, simple way. You just mention it and then you proceed with your framework. So here if you see this implicit wait, this always goes with the selenium identification of the element only. While it is identifying the element, it will wait. But if you want to wait for certain properties to load actually, that time this implicit wait will not work for you. Okay, so the example which we can see this one actually, like I can give you one example. Let me comment these two things. Now here if you see this this element, whatever I'm identifying, this element is present, whether I mean no need to wait. But to get the text, I mean this implicit wait will not work actually. Let's see that. See, I have implicit wait. I am doing this text. Now element is present, but to display this text, it takes 5 seconds. Now let's see if the implicit wait is helping us or not. Let me rerun this one. Okay, you can see it did not wait anything because this element is already present, so the implicit wait didn't work. But the dot text is coming as blank actually, because it will not wait till you get this text actually. So that is again another reason that we can use the WebDriver wait. Okay, so let's see the WebDriver wait syntax. How do we do that with the Selenium Python? So there is this WebDriver and then wait, and then this accepts two parameters actually. One is your driver and then the poll time. So what is that? How much time you want to wait? So let me make it as 10 seconds. Now after this, I will say until. This is again another method. Inside this I will be putting all those conditions, whether the text is present. Till the text is present, you will be so until the text is present you wait. Don't just come out of the what do you call selenium script or abort the execution and all those things, because I said a conditional basis selenium will wait. So all those conditions we will be writing here. Now for this actually we have one method actually, expected underscore conditions. Actually that's not a method, that's basically your what do you call, the object actually. So I can say like this, expected conditions, expected underscore. Okay, let me see here, I actually imported from the previous one. It's basically expected conditions. I'm making it as alias as EC, so I can even use that one as it is. So I will say EC dot. You can see it is providing few of the pre-built methods actually. Selenium with Python actually. It's basically in any other language binding also, like you can get it in Java or .NET as well. Now you can see visibility of the element located. This particular method normally what it does, so this will wait certain amount of time till your element is identified and also it is visible on the screen. Sometime what happens, your element is identified but it is not visible on the screen. It might be hidden, might take some time to make it visible on the screen. The same thing, text to be present in the element means there is some display text is present on that, because that button should display certain certain text actually. Till that time you need to wait there. Now each of this method has their own parameters. I will show you that one by one. Presence of element located, this is basically the alternate of implicit wait actually. So it will wait till that particular element is identified. Then element to be clickable, there are certain elements those are disabled. Now you can wait till that element is enabled, then you can click it. So clickable property will be false. It might take some time, that much of time you need to wait it actually. Alert is present. Let's say that you are clicking on the submit button, you might get a alert by saying that registration successful, but you don't know how much time the alert will take time actually to appear. So first you can wait till that alert will come, then you can verify what are the alert text, and you can just click OK or accept or decline whatever you want to do that. Okay, so there are so many options actually depending on your requirement. You can element to be selected, so it's a on the drop down concept. If you want to uh, whether that select drop down is disabled or something, you can just use this method. And then there is some invisibility of the element, means sometimes what happens, let's say that you perform certain action on the screen and one element should be disappear actually, should disappear. Now to disappear it might take some time. Normally if you see any animations on your screen, so the button should take certain amount of time, let's say that 2 seconds or 3 seconds to disappear actually. So you can even specify those things. Normally where I can give you one good example. Let's say that you have a big grid actually, where always you need to do a pull to refresh actually, or else you need to key press actually F5 on the screen on the browser actually. Now when you do that you will see a busy loader always comes. Now that's where actually you can use this invisibility of the element. Means what you can say, till the element is visible don't do anything. Once that element is gone, means it is invisible, then you proceed. It means that your busy loader goes and your refresh worked properly. So you can give it a try actually. Okay, so and then the same thing, I think elements also will be there. Let me see that. Yeah, you can see presence of all elements, means let's say that you have a list of elements and it takes certain amount of time to completely appear that list actually. So there you can use which might return you the elements. And these methods whatever we were seeing, the only purpose is not to just wait actually for a certain condition. It even returns specific value. So based on that return state actually you can perform certain actions. For an instance, let me show you a couple of methods actually. Visibility of the element located. Now this basically accepts a locator. You can see on the white text parameter. Now what I can say, by dot I can put some XPath. I'm giving a dummy actually here, something actually I'm entering here. Now what this will do, this will not only wait till that particular what you call XPath is what you call present on the screen, and then the text is or it is visible on the screen, but also this particular method returns true or false also. That now how did I know that? Now I can go, like if you are using a Mac actually, you can click on this particular method. You can go to the implementation with command B actually. Now you can see an expectation for checking that an element is present and also visible actually on the screen, and this basically returns me a true or false actually. How did I know? If you see, it is returning a method actually. Now let's see what this method is returning. Now this method is returning whether the element is displayed or not, which is a true false concept, right? If it is true, it will return. If it is not visible, then it will return me false. Means this returns me a true false statement, a boolean actually. Let's see any other what you call methods actually. Now if I go to this one, let's see text to be present in this element. Now let's see, it's giving me some error actually. Now what is that error actually? If I put a control space, you can see let's see first what is the implementation. So basically I need to provide two parameters actually. One is the locator, which I already sent here, and then the second thing is that I need to specify the text actually. What is that text that should be visible for that particular element actually? Now that text I need to specify. Now here one thing you need to see, and that sometimes this by.xpath is not working in this way. So what we need to do now, you have to specify two parameters inside this one actually. Now you need to specify like this, by xpath comma, you need to give the xpath, the actual xpath actually, what is that? Okay, then it will be properly identified. Let me see that what is the problem. Yeah, you can see here. Now let's say that the x path is, let's say p, and then here something it is coming, blah blah, it is coming something, and then I'm saying until it is it says that submitted. Okay, until this particular paragraph shows submitted, you wait that much of time. Okay, now once it is done actually, what this particularly does, that let me go to this implementation, and this returns me that particular text actually, whatever that text is there. If it is not identifying, then it will return me false. So that is one thing. So this again returns me a true false statement. Okay, now I can use this one, because if not, let's say that if this particular method is not available, then what I need to do, I need to put a while loop, and I will say that this particular element dot text, if it is not submitted, you keep on wait actually on that. I need to put a for loop or a while loop to wait that much of time. Once this particular element is visible, I can come out of that loop, which is like difficult and time consuming, right? So that's why this element, this particular what you call method will be really helpful. Let's see some more examples. So these methods, whatever we are seeing, these all returning me the true or false. Sometimes it will return me the element itself, so that I need not to do the find by element. Now for an instance, let me find a method. You will see presence of the element located. Now this just accepts the xpath only, nothing else. Okay, now if you see here, now let me go back to this one. You will see it is only accepting the locator only. Now if I go here and then here, let me do a small change here. Now this is basically should be staying as a by xpath method actually here. Okay, so it is coming 1 2 3. Let me keep another one. Okay, now this will return me the element actually. I have shown you how did I know. You can see return find dot element means it's a locator actually. Now this one basically what I can do, element equal to, I can put like this, and I will say element dot click, whatever operation I want I can do that here. So I can even click this this one also. I can click if it is particularly, let's say that if it is a your text box, you can do a send keys as well here. So those kind of stuff also you can execute with this one. Okay, so that you need not to write even the find by element id or whatever it is there. With one single line of code, you can identify and then get that element returned. So you have the condition, based on that condition you can return it. So basically what I would say that whatever the methods are available, go to that implementation and see what it is returning, whether it is returning an element or it is returning true false, so that based on that you can write the next line of code or proceed with your next line of code. Okay, now though selenium provided so many different options, like we have seen, based on a text, based on visibility, based on selected, based on click event, you can do that. But there is another option, you can even customize these conditions also, means you can write on your own actually. Okay, so that is what we are going to see at this moment. So let's see that. Okay, so for this, first, if I go to this, let's see the structure of this particular what do you call method actually, which we were using. So this is basically a class. This class is accepting an object, and it has actually two methods. If you see, one is init method. Init is nothing but the constructor of this particular class, and call is basically which is doing the condition actually, validating the condition. Now the concept is that whatever we are writing under the call, it will execute till that particular condition is satisfied. As simple as that. Means, let's say that return find element. Now, until it is not identifying, you keep calling this method, recurring call actually. Once you do this one, then it will return true, and then this loop will be finished there. Until this condition is false, this call will be executing. That is the thing. Now you might say that okay, let's say that for some reason this particular element is always returning false only. I mean, it is returning null only. The condition is not satisfying. So are we going to a infinite loop? Not really, because this call will poll every time, even this condition also. So two conditions. One is whatever I mentioned, this condition here, and also this condition. When both of these, so that condition, let's say that this condition is always false or it's not evaluating properly, but it is exceeding the 10 seconds which time I'm giving, then it will come out of the loop and it will give me timeout exception actually, because we wanted to avoid this implicit wait, right? That's why we are mentioning this time limit. So if this particular whatever I'm writing here, if this is not satisfying within 10 seconds, then don't do anything else. You throw the timeout exception and abort the selenium execution. If you are putting into a try catch block, then it will handle accordingly. Fine. So that is what we want to replicate. Now, what is this constructor is all about? So this constructor is basically to pass the parameter from your test script to this method. Now, if you see here, I am passing the locator, right, by.xpath. So that is what I'm doing here. It is basically assigning the parameter which you sent from the WebDriverWait to your local class. This is your local class object or a variable actually, class variable. Now this variable can be accessed here. You can see self dot locator. So this is what we wanted to mock it up on our own. So let me copy paste this one, and I will try to replicate basically this one actually. Let me, okay, one thing you need to make sure always in Python, the indentation takes a high priority. So you need, oops, it is always coming here only. Let me rewrite that, not to worry about that. So I will try to what you call customize this particular method actually on my own way actually. Now let's try to do that. So I'll create a class here, and I will say that class is wait underscore till text appears. Okay, I'm just making my own class name actually. Now this will accept an object, we have seen that, and colon indentation starts. Now here I need to use two methods, right? And one is my def init. So def init, and it has to be, let me, yeah, you can see here. Okay, dev init. Now here I will be passing the parameters, whichever parameter I need. Now one is that I want to take this particular parameter, that is nothing but the locator. Locator is important, right? Or else how do I identify that? Then the particular text actually, whatever text I am taking. Now just to make it, I'm making it like this. Okay, and then here I will be writing like this, because local variable I need to assign, right? So I will create a local variable equal to locator. This is the first thing, and the second thing is that self dot text equal to text underscore. This is second thing I'm doing. Okay, fine. Now let me write another def call method actually, and this is basically the call method actually. Okay, and here I will be taking the driver. Okay, now this driver object I need not to send it from here. This is basically coming from here. So because I'm calling inside this, right? So this driver object will be taken automatically, so you need not to specify that. Okay, now what do we write here actually? So I can write like this. Let's see the try block. Okay, try, and then here I will write I'm taking some element underscore text equal to, I will say driver because I said I can take the driver element as it is, right? So I will say here driver dot find element, and I will say find element only here. Let me show you that. How can I write this one? So find element. Inside this, actually I will be taking this one, this by XPath, and then this one. Two parameters are there inside this, one, two. Now there is a reference actually in Python actually. Let me make it as a star, and I will make self dot locator. So whatever locator I'm sending here you take that. So this is just a reference. Reference means I'm taking by XPath and this whole word actually. That much only you make sure. Okay, and I'm assigning the text actually. I'm fetching the text. So first thing is that I'm identifying the element, and then I'm taking the text out of that. Simple thing, I'm doing that. Fine. What is the error? Let me see that. Oh, okay, no problem. It's saying that when you are having a try, you should be having a finally block or a accept block. No problem. We will deal with that. Now return here what I will do. Now once I will get the text, what I want to do? I want to compare against this text, right? I'm fetching it from the application, and this is my required text. So what I will do, I'm doing a condition actually, because as I told, call method will always execute till this method will be true actually, till this method is true. So I will say self dot text in this element text. Fine, now you can make relate it. Now if this condition is not satisfying, let's say that the element is not identified properly, it will throw you exception, it will throw you no such element exception, right? Now that time I need to catch that exception. For that I will be using the except block actually. Now here I'm keeping base exception which will hold all exceptions, right? So I'm making it as a generic actually. Now here I'm returning false actually, because as I told, f should be capital. I need to make this block always false till this condition is satisfying. So it is false. Let's say that for the first instance, this is becoming false, or it is throwing some exception actually. What I'm doing here, it will throw me false. Okay, now every time it will do that, because every time it will try to search false, it will come here and then it will execute, then false, because call will automatically repeat itself actually. Okay, till this polling time whatever we are giving. Okay, now let's say a situation came after 6 seconds, this become true. I could able to identify the element, and the text is also identifying. Now what this statement will return me? True. When it is returning true, the call will not longer will be executed, means it will come out of the loop. Okay, and then it is returning me a true false here. Fine, so that is the concept actually here. Now how do I call this one? Okay, so it is telling that two blank lines, and the same thing I'll make it here so that no problem, let's not worry about this one. And then here, yeah, Python is like you have to make it everything proper. The errors are gone. Now how do I call this one actually? Now simple thing, I need to paste it here. Let me create another one here, and I will say WebDriverWait. Okay, and then driver, and I'm making it as a 10 seconds dot until. Now here I will say until, and then I will call this particular method directly actually. I need not to go to this EC class actually, because EC class has its own methods, right? So I don't want to use their class, I want to use my own class actually. And because this class is already present in this file, so directly I'm calling that one, but it accepts few of the parameters actually. As you can see, locator actually. Now locator is basically this one. Now I can just directly copy paste, and inside this I will put it, and here I will make it whatever the text I want to display here, I will showcase that one. Now just to show you a real-time example, let me first do this. Okay, now here you can see the first thing is that I'm clicking on this button. Once I click on this button, let's go back to this example. I want to wait till this what you call element is showing this text actually. So I'm copying this one. So till this particular paragraph or the element shows I am here, I want to wait with my own customized method. So here I'm putting this one. Now here I'm putting partially because I'm making it as in actually. In means contains. So it doesn't matter whatever I'm doing. Now after it will wait for 10 seconds or whatever time it is taking. Then what happens? I need to identify that element because it's not returning me true or false. It's returning, sorry, this is not returning the exact element actually. This is returning me the true false. Now, once this particular statement is executed, then directly I can driver dot find element by ID, and then here I think that is 2 dot text I can do like this. Okay, now just to make you comfortable after waiting, and I will just print this one so that you can see. And the same thing, let me print it before also. I think here I already printed first attempt without waiting, without not doing anything. I'm printing that one. After that I am using my customized method, then I'm trying to print there actually. Now here I will put id equal to here, not xpath actually, I can take directly the id here by dot id, and here completely let me put this one actually. Let's see if this is working or not, okay, with our customized one. So I will run this one. Now it's waiting. Okay, appeared, and then it should display. Let's see what is that error it is coming. So it's giving me a timeout error. Let's see what is that error it is showing. Okay, so the problem is that it is element actually. So here find underscore element. Now let's try to run it again. Okay, so here you can see, just to see that while debugging, I just wanted to see whether the print whatever it is coming, is it printing or not after this. So it was not coming actually. So because of that, actually, I got doubt. There is some problem with this line. So as you can see, find underscore element, and you can see how many times it polled actually. You can see. I think it is coming with 0.5 second, I guess. So how many polls? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So after 10 polling, so 10 polling means it is basically because after 5 seconds, this particular element should be visible, right? So 5 second means there are 10 0.5 seconds because each time this particular call method will be poll for 0.5 sec after 0.5 second if this condition is false. So that's where we are getting nearly 10 or 11 polls, and after that it is coming proper actually. So you can, depending on your requirement, whatever you want, you can write it under this logic, and then you can make it. So even you can return that particular element also. So let's say that you don't want to do again driver dot find element. So that time what you can do, you can just check this particular, so under this try block you can do if this text is matching to this one, return that element. Return element means what? Driver dot find element. You can return. Now once you're returning this one, then you can just say here element equal to this one, and then element dot click, element dot send keys, whatever you want, you can do that. Okay, so this could be one of the what do you call, assignment or a task for you. Let's give it a try, and if you're getting any questions, you can just put it into the comment, and then we can discuss on that. Okay, so This is again one more good way of what you call customizing your own way of these conditions actually. So normally in your framework designing, it's not recommended to keep like this because we are hard coding this one. So I mean, let's say that you are encountering 50 different elements to identify. So not all these 50 elements you want to write this line of code, right? So what you can do, you can keep a utility method actually. Under that method you can write this entire line into a method like whatever we did it, and then you just need to call that particular elements only. So see what are the changes actually here. Let's say that you have 10 elements where you want to wait till a particular text is visible or not. So you can make a method. Under that method you can write this logic, or else keep this one into a different what do you call, different utility file or something. And then what happens, this entire line you need to again keep it into a method actually. That method will only accept these two parameters only. So where you can handle the dynamic actually in that. Okay, so these are the different usages of the selenium weight, and by using the implicit weight or explicit weight you can basically synchronize your test script with the application time or application delay, whatever it is coming. Okay, one last thing actually. So whenever you are using this WebDriver weight, please make sure that you will be commenting the implicit weight, or else what you can do like this actually. You can come back here, like whatever the utility method you will be writing, right? So there before to that you just make like this. So it means that I am making it off actually. Normally what happens, selenium will get confused between this implicit weight and your WebDriver weight, and your wait time might increase actually. So that's why it is always recommended either you completely remove from your framework writing this implicit weight, but in some cases let's say that you want to keep that one, then always make sure that before WebDriver wait you want to reset this one to 0 actually, then you can perform this one. So always keep that in mind. Okay, so that's pretty much it for today. Hope this session helpful. Do practice and let me know if you get any issues. Do subscribe and share with your friends if it is useful. Thank you for watching.